Hello and welcome back to Success is Never Accidental. I'm Lynne Peyton, and this is the show where we get to explore all the factors that contribute to success, and I get to interview some highly successful people. My guest today is Christina Irizarry. Christina is originally from Moldova, which, for those of you who don't know, and I had to look it up as well, is an economically poor region situated between Romania and Ukraine in Eastern Europe. Christina qualified in law and she speaks 3 languages, but she wanted more than life could offer in Moldova. And she now runs a successful business in Tampa, Florida, where she buys, restores, and sells single-family homes. So help me welcome Christina Irizarry. Hi, Christina, and thank you for joining me today on Success is Never Accidental.
Thank you for having me, Lynne. I'm very excited to be here.
Christina, this show is all about understanding the factors that contribute to success and hearing about people's journey to success. So I'm intrigued by your story. So tell me a little bit about growing up in Moldova, because that's a country in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, so like I was raised by a single mom originally. So like I mean she had me when actually my grandparents raised me until I was like 3. We were helping her because she was working. So my grandparents took pretty much me to where they living. So and they raised me until I was like 3, 4 when my mom said that's enough. She needs to go to like a kindergarten or school because she needs to learn stuff. My grandparents have a farm, so that's pretty much I spent most of my summer. So I work instead of having a kids vacation, I had like working farm vacation. And I think that's what actually built my character the way I am, because I'm like very tough and I mean, I'm not really afraid to take a chance. And like, if it needs, like people are so used to like catering to like 9 to 5 jobs, but they don't really realize like, you can still wake up a little early. What if you have to stay later? You have to stay later. So I think that's what to build my character. When I finished the high school. I actually worked bartending while I was going to law school. And that was because my mom actually, at the time, my mom lost her job. So I was actually helping my mom and my brother to support the family.
So
And
times were tough when you were growing up and everybody had to pitch in and work hard. But why did you choose law, Christina?
I felt like that was an area that I don't know. I think it was maybe like on a spite to my mom, because my mom wanted me to be an accountant and I was very good at the math, but I was like, I don't want to do account. I want to do law. So, and after looking into the law, I really liked the idea of helping people, because I was looking for like the law I went when I went to law school was more like from the social work, or like from the social, like people who like got pensions and they didn't get enough for whatever the government didn't do correctly. So I felt like that was the part I was very interested in, because I could help people. And I mean, of course, you could make pretty good money too. So that was one of the things.
So
And
did you ever practice law in Moldova?
I did like a internship, I guess you call it. I don't know. And I did it for like maybe a year with like a firm. But after a while, I felt like I didn't really like it, because I felt like you couldn't really help everyone. And I was getting very like, I guess it was affecting my emotions, because I was like, no, we can't help everyone. And I wanted to help. So that's when I was like, I don't know. I still did it like for a year. And then I worked as a bartending, but I just stopped and I was like, you know what, like I'll just do the bartending for us, figure out what I actually want to do.
And what happened then? What determined that you would come to the United States?
So I think the breaking point was when you all have like relationships, you date, and I felt like I was just like going in a circle. I just didn't feel like I was getting what I was actually dreaming, I guess, what I wanted to accomplish. So I was like, no, this is not really working. I said, I need a change. And then when I got the opportunity to come to United States, I was like, what the worst can happen? I can come, don't like it, and I just can go back home. So that's pretty much how I did. I said, let me give it a try. Why not? People go all over the country, all over the world, and you can always come back.
So what was the process to actually emigrate to the States?
So actually, I met someone, and I was on a vacation in Romania, and I met someone, and he was coming to my country. We dated for a little bit, for like, I think for like 7-8 months, and then he's like, "Do you want to come to United States?" I'm like, "No, that's not like, you know, any other European country you can just go. Pretty much, United States has a long process." So I was like, "Oh, sure, we can try." So I mean, we applied. I actually had 2 classes, tutoring for English and stuff, because I didn't really speak English that well. And I mean, it took us 3 or 4 months to do the paperwork. And honestly, the paperwork was probably, everybody was surprised because it was very quick. Like, everything happened quick. I went for an interview. They said, yes, okay. They stamped, and I came to United States in June 16th, 2005.
So you're here almost 20 years
Yes.
now. That's amazing. And then, but you got into like a weird kind of occupation. Tell us, how did you end up in construction of all things?
So I met Joe, who is my husband. So we met in 2016, and he was planning to move out of it because I used to live in New Jersey. So he was planning to move out to Florida because he was sick and tired of snow. And so he was, the first thing he asked, he's like, "Are you don't want to move at all? What are you against moving?" I was like, "No." I was a little hesitant because we were just dating, and I'm like, "No, I have here my job, because I was managing like bagel shops, couple bagel shops there. And I actually was getting an opportunity to be part owner of one of them. And I was like, no, but then I was like, I can always go back. It's not like if I leave a job, I can't find another one. So I took a chance, and we dated for 4 years, and then we got engaged, and we moved to Florida in 2018. And the reason we actually picked Florida because of he always wanted to do real estate. So he, of course, like, "Hey, you want to read this book? You want to look at this book?" So I've been looking at a lot of books and stuff. And then was a awkward, I don't know, like I was on Facebook and an ad came up. It was like, "Hey, we are doing some real estate classes. Do you want to come see what we do?" So I showed it to him. He's like, "Oh, let's go." So we went to that real estate class. When we signed up for some other classes, we got like a coach, a mentor. And as any coach, any person will tell you, you can read as many books as you want. You can go to every class on the planet Earth. But if you don't take action to actually do something, you can just say, "Oh yeah, I read this book or I read that book." But what did you do? Nothing. So we just took and we bought our first house in 2019. And that's how we started.
That's so funny, because your story really resonates with me. I think it was in the late 90s. I took those classes and I did exactly what you said. I went to an auction in Belfast and I bought a house, and it was a rubbish house and I had no idea what I was doing. But that house taught me so much more than I ever would have learned from books and classes. So your motto is very much take a chance. If the opportunity looks good, jump in, have a go. And there's always a safety net, because I like that idea that, you can always go back or you can always go forward. You can get another job. You can take another opportunity. So what have been some of the obstacles to being successful in your current business?
So I think when you start like fighting the deal, because we are in real estate, so fighting a property, it's not that hard. To build the team, that's what is hard. So, and I think building a team, people sometimes like, "Oh, it didn't work out," and they're like, "Oh, okay, I give up." No, it's just, it's you're working with people. So it doesn't matter what it is, what kind of job, what kind of career you have, a business, you're always going to be working with people. So you have to give a chance to a person, you talk to them and build your team. It's not going to be the first people you meet. It's going to maybe be a third, a fourth, a 10th, depends. Everything depending on, how it goes. So for us, I mean, we had a hard time finding like contractors, but we went through that. Then we had a hard time finding a good realtor. It's like you work through all that stuff. And I think it's like, how to say it? It's one of those things that, any renovations like we do, you have one team, then you pick people you think work the best for you, and you take them to the next project, and eventually you're going to have your perfect team. And maybe sometimes you want to be outgrown, you may outgrow your team. So you may need to find little different people because you don't want to, teaching them to do stuff. You want to learn something from them too sometimes.
So what is it that you're looking for? What kind of qualities are you looking for in the people that you want to be on your team?
Yeah, I want to make sure like the people who join our team are hard workers and be on time, like not telling me, oh, I'm going to be there and I'm not there. When you waste your time. Honest. If something is wrong, I would rather you to come and tell me than me try to find out later. So that's pretty much, of course, depending on if it's a trade, you want to make sure they they actually know what they're doing. I mean, if it's like I don't know, if it's an assistant, you want to make sure she's like computer literate and everything else that comes with that job.
That's so true, isn't it? Regardless of what kind of sector or industry we're in, we want people that are hardworking, reliable, honest, transparent, so as you say, they own up to issues and mistakes. And of course, we need them to be competent from a skills point of view, because you're hiring people who have to be skilled in what they do. And how challenging has that been over time? And what have you done to actually build that team of competent, skilled people?
So, I mean, we are in times where it's very hard to find any skilled person. So like I honestly, the way we found most of our people is first you get a general contractor that for whatever reason, we don't have a luck with that. It's just not, I think we just like one way in the usual general contracts that they like different way. But it's weird how we found I called someone and I needed something and they recommended this person. I was like, okay, this is a small job. Let me give it to him. We'll see how he goes. And he did a great job. And now he's been working with us for many years. Then, for example, I have like a plumbing trade who was from a home warranty. We had a leaky sink and they came in and to fix the leaky sink. And I asked them, I said, hey, are you guys do just warranty like stuff? Or do you actually do other? They're like, no, we full plumbing company. And I tried them on that. They were very reliable and stuff. And that's how little by little you get like referrals. Then you just give it a try. Sometimes you even like go on Google and like, okay, like let me find someone, like say, but it's one of those things I like work with people who already know, who are established with me in the relationship. And I'm very hesitant hiring new people. Just because it's like you don't know what you're getting into, and everyone has the way they work, when you work differently. But like the last project we did, we actually had to hire a lot of new people, and there are people I'll never hire again. And I'll give it honest, thing that you look at the reviews sometimes, because that's what normally people do. You go on Google, you look at the reviews, and some companies have a lot of good reviews, and then always you have like 1 or 2%, then it's a bad review. And I'm like, you always judge by the good ones, but I'll tell you, from the last company we hired, I will never hire them again, and I will never recommend them to. And they had over 700 reviews on Google. So it's like you can't really go judge, but I think if you have that weird feeling when you hire the person, and you probably should just go with gut feeling sometimes.
And that's so important, because two things there, Christina, your coach and mine, JT Fox, always says trust and verify. So, you read the reviews, but then you have to meet the people and you have to go by your own judgment. And I always say we overuse our brain, but we've actually got 3 centers of intelligence. We've got our heart and our stomach, as well as our brain. And very often it's just about trusting your gut, isn't it? Yes. Because you and I've been around long enough now to be able to trust our own judgment when it comes to people.
Yes. Yeah, that's very, very important. But, even sometimes the gut is not really right. But, that's how you learn, and that's how you build your experience. Because if you just, if you're always right, how are you going to grow? How are you going to get a chance to get better at something? So every mistake you make, usually it's a lesson. So no, next time I'm not doing this way. I'm going to do the other way.
What have been, every mistake is a lesson. What have been some of your most expensive lessons?
The most expensive one, I think this is the last project we did. We overlooked that how much work the house needs. So we were expecting one thing, and then everything that went wrong, it could go wrong. So so like foundation, we expect to have some foundation work, but we didn't realize the foundation is going to be not 20,000, it's going to be 40,000. So, but at the end of the day, like how you cope with that problem, how you fix that mistake. So like what we did, so for example, like I'm really good at the designing stuff, and I can do nice designs on a budget. So instead of using a more fancy tile, we just had to cut on some stuff, like, okay, we're going to use just simple white because that's always cheaper. So as long as you lay it differently, so you give something. So that's how, even if the mistake was expensive, and people buy houses, they don't care how good they care how good is foundation, but they look with their eyes. So they don't see the foundation was done. They see how your kitchen looks, for example.
Exactly. So really what you're saying, it's all about mindset. So things don't go according to plan. So you ask yourself a better question. Well, how are we going to save money somewhere else, but still make it look nice? But you get it's like life, isn't it? The really important bit is that you get the foundations right.
Yes.
And you put the right infrastructure in place, and then you can fancy it up down the line. But in our relationships, in our business, the foundations are what is really most important.
Yeah.
Say a little bit about mindset. What are some of your routines and disciplines that get you up every day when the contractors let you down, when the plumber didn't show up, or when you lift something and you wish you hadn't lifted that stone because there's another problem underneath it? What do you do? What are your disciplines and your mantras to keep you going and stay positive?
So I'm a morning person, not really evening person. So usually I wake up around 6, have my coffee, like little things, and like just if it's because of course if something keeps me up, I will be up my early. But the way I look at things, it's always something can go wrong. But I'm always thinking like, no, I can't just drop and walk away. I have to finish this. I started, I have to finish it. And that's normally how I try to, like, you get your ups and downs, you walk and something, and you're like, oh God, I want to just leave. Just want to get in a car and drive away because something is going wrong. But, it's like I said, like, I learned, some things you just have to, like, if somebody didn't show up and you didn't do it, you have to find someone else to do the job. That's just easy. If you call them, they don't show up, sorry, you're fired, next. There is plenty of people who want to work and get paid. And there are like, we had a project and they had like old windows, and to replace those windows was an arm and a leg, and I couldn't find anybody want to fix them. I literally went on YouTube, watched the video, and I did it myself. I'm not saying that's a good thing because, it's a lot of wasting of my time when I could do something else, but I done it.
You're making me laugh because from an absolute standing start, because he'd never gotten his hands dirty on anything before, my son did his own patio and built an outdoor kitchen, watching videos on YouTube and talking to people, and asking for help and asking for advice. But, something that I think he was quoted 35,000 for, he did for about 7. It's amazing what you can do if you put your mind to it. So I love the kitchen behind you at the moment. Where are you today?
So I'm actually home, but the kitchen is the house we just built. We just finished it. It's a new construction. So it's, we designed it. I pretty much picked the colors and everything. It's a white kitchen with black Z-line appliances. And it's a pretty high-end house. This is actually the first time we build anything. So this is our first new construction. So, and I'm very happy how it came out. I'm very proud of it.
And your first new construction, so like literally instead of just renovating, you built one from scratch, which is a whole different set of skills.
Yes, we actually, this property had a home on it. It was a 1950s house. We tore it down, so it was demolished, and then we built up from the ground, like it was a foundation. We did the footers. I was a lot of lessons learned, like say, I didn't know what is a stem wall foundation and a monolithic slab, but now I know the difference. So you learn little things as you go. And I have done heavy renovations in the past. So we did houses that didn't have any plumbing, electric, or anything like that. So this was the only new thing was to us is to how to do the trusses and the foundation, because never really did like, you know, you change roofs, but not. And I mean, it's like one, actually, I think was the most easiest project ever, just because we did have a general contractor who I didn't have to manage as much as like when on renovations, you pretty much were every day there.
Mhm, mhm.
So it was much easier process.
So tell me now that you've had all these adventures and all this learning, what does success mean to you?
I mean, of course, success for everyone is, you know, different. So for me, it's like, I mean, I'm happy what I am. I have a dream and I have a goal what I want to be. And I think when you can actually live comfortably and help people who need, and, you know, help people for your family, surrounding, maybe like, you know, I don't know, like do what do you call philanthropy, I think that's the word I'm looking for. So that's, I think, the success. Of course, you know, as a woman, I think I like to buy everything and I can afford stuff. But like I feel like being not worry about tomorrow, be comfortable and feel great. That's probably what is for me like success means.
Fantastic. And if there was one piece of advice, Christina, you would give your younger self, looking back, what would that be?
Take more chances. Don't give up. Because at the end of the day, you know, you can't just walk away from the problems. And, you know, I mean, I know I didn't take as many chances when I was very young, but then I took plenty of chances when I was like in my 20s. And now I think I'm more like going back, like, I don't know if I want to take that risk. But I think if you take a chance, you know, you have sacrifices, of course. So, but just take the chance.
And I think what you're saying now is with wisdom and maturity, those chances are perhaps maybe more calculated and more thought out than they might have been for your younger self. But there's nothing worse than being stuck, is there? We've all got to get out of our comfort zone. And the only way you can do that is by taking calculated risk, by taking chances. But I think the phrase I want to leave everybody with, because it's fundamental to success, is what you just said about don't give up, find a way.
Yes, just don't give up, because the minute you give up on your dreams. So just keep going. Don't walk away from the problem, because if you're not resolving this problem today, you're gonna have the same problem tomorrow. And then you're gonna say, oh, I wish I fixed that. Then now I knew how to handle it.
And then you get the learning and you integrate that learning so you don't encounter the same problem next time. But when we build up that learning, the next problem becomes easier because we've got more confidence in ourselves that we actually are good at problem solving.
Yes.
So good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
So many great learning from our guest today, Christina Irizarry. Tony Robbins says, your destiny is determined by the decisions that you make. So Christina decided to come to the United States. She decided at various times to follow the opportunities that were presented to her, and she decided to try new things. She went from managing a bagel shop in New Jersey to renovating houses in Tampa. But she did it in a planned way. She went to real estate classes. She got a coach and a mentor, and then she jumped in by buying her first house, because she said you can only learn so much from the books and the tapes and the classes. It's the practical application that allows you to actually figure things out. Finding the right team has been critical to her success, and she looks for people who are reliable, hardworking, honest, transparent, and competent. And then she looks after them and brings them with her to the next job. But one of the things she said is it can be hard finding the right people, but you have to keep at it, because her belief was that they are out there And we find them in all kinds of different ways, but we must find them. And she also said something really profound, that sometimes we outgrow our team. When we grow and develop and expand into new ideas, we need a different team, and we need different coaches and mentors to learn from them. And she also said we need to let go of people who aren't trustworthy and reliable. Success has a different meaning for everyone, but successful people have some things in common. And Christina exemplified those. First of all, most successful people start the day early. They believe in themselves and their ability to solve problems. Like Christina, they take chances. They do things differently, and they do different things. They listen to their gut. They surround themselves with good people. And like Christina, they don't give up. Remember, success is never accidental.